Do you read me?
Be advised, you are coming in weak and unreadable.
Say again, Com Tower. This is Haji. Do you read me? Over.
Pacho, this is Com Tower. I read you Lima Charlie.
Com Tower. Request permission to launch and commence the field op. Over.
Stand by. Pacho, permission granted. Say again, permission granted.
Roger that. Launching podcast in 3, 2. You are now entering the field op with your host, R Correa, Chief Warrant Officer 3, United States Marine Corps retired. Get some.
Hurrah! Get some. What's going on, everybody? Another great week has gone by, and it's showtime once again. So we got an awesome show coming up to you guys today. But before we get started, you know how I like to start my show. So this show, it's all about freedom of speech, as well as the right to bear arms, first and second amendment, among all the other things that the great Constitution of this awesome country has brought to us and given to us by our, given right of being Americans. So if you like what you hear, stick around, make sure you like, subscribe, follow, make sure you share the show and recommend it to other people, because that's how, we grow the show. And also that's how basically we pay the light bill. But if you don't like what you hear, that's okay too. You can go ahead and swipe left and move on to the next show. Maybe, something on really good stuff on sitchradio.com or Combat Vet Vision, one of those shows, something might strike your fancy. Nonetheless, the show must go on. Today we have a really awesome show. We have my son, my oldest, Mr. Joseph Correa. Let's bring him into the fold. What's going on, Joseph?
Nothing much. How about you?
How you been, son?
I've been great. Just working and getting used to the summers of Arizona again. It was 114 today, so that's always fun.
I know what you mean, but that's okay.
And Pacho dropped, so he'll be clicking that link and rejoining us shortly. I guess I'll fill in. Joseph, what was it like growing up the son of a Marine?
It had its ups and downs, of course, to be expected. Got to be exposed to some great stuff, and got to really grow as an individual in regards to self-sufficiency and such. And it's a multifaceted answer. There's a lot of layers to the question, especially with father being a career Marine. So instead of just like 4 or 8 years, and then afterwards he's home all the time, it was just a constant, just father's home, father's not home, so on and so forth.
Hey, Pacho, I filled in, man. We were just getting to what was it like growing up the son of an active duty Marine. So I'll let you take over.
Thanks, bud. I appreciate it. Sorry about that. Well, technology sometimes it's a double-edged sword. But so, yeah, what was it like, growing up in that safety bubble that's, we like to call the base? What was that like for you?
So growing up on the base itself, it is a bubble, and you grow up with some expectations of how other people would be, other kids my age, and then you go out into the real world and you're like, man, not everybody is as respectable or as motivated or self-sufficient or such like that. So that did help with the growth and being a dependent on base. You really grow up around a lot of people that just have great character. Really, you learn how to be, at least from my perspective, you learn how to be just a little bit more mature, a little bit sooner, which has its pros and cons, of course. But it definitely has helped me as I transitioned into my teenage and then adult years and such. Just that growth was already occurred, so I didn't have to play catch up once I actually became an adult on my own. If that makes sense.
No, I mean it does. It does. But I think, and not again, I'm not saying any of this because because of my kid, but just because of as an individual and person that I know you, and I think that's always been you too. Because I mean, shit, we knew some of your counterparts or the kids of some of my fellow Marines, whether we can see here, whether enlisted or officer. I mean, these kids were fucking hellions. I mean, let's just call it for like what it is. So,
oh yeah, so it's two ends of the spectrum, if you will.
Right. I mean, it's just one of those things where, we can't say, oh, well, civilian kids or well that. I think it just it can go both ways. But I mean, do you remember some of the stories or some of the things that let's talk about the bad first. Let's get to the bad, and then we can talk about the good later on. But I mean, do you remember some of the stories or some of the kids that you used to hang out with and some of the stuff that they used to do?
Yeah. Yes, there were those that were significantly less. They were little shitheads. You got kids that are just bored and doing kid stuff, right? But just, basic stuff like TPing houses, and there were kids in my neighborhood that just stole scooters for the sake of stealing scooters, and their parents just like, well, I guess we have 40 scooters now in our garage. I'm like, where did we get these? I don't know, but we got 40 scooters, right on. Just like random stupid stuff like that. A lot of fights, but that's, I don't know. Not having been like living in the civilian neighborhood and such like that and growing up with those kinds of kids, that's just what I think of as kids doing, is just stupid little stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, and we can talk about, I remember, this kid, shit, his name was Lucky, I think was his name. And I remember some of the stuff that him and some of his little friends used to do. And Scott has been on the show before. I think it was Halloween, and these kids were playing, ringing doorbells and then, running away. And Scott had, I think he was wearing a ghillie suit, and he was kind of like dressed up like one of those, like a scarecrow or something on the chair. So every time you would go to his house, he would he would, scare the living crap out of you. Everybody, every trick or treater. But so these kids were going around the neighborhood, and I think they just hit his house, and he was still dressed. And they ran away. He's running around the house, chasing them around the perimeter of his house, trying to grab him with his ghillies. And he finally caught this kid, and the kid was crying. Oh my God, let me go. And I think the kid was even cussing him. They called the MPs, and it was just a huge, just shit show,
Yeah,
just.
And that's just some of the stuff that, my friends and I did stupid stuff like that too. It's you get bored, you do stupid stuff. Plenty of ding dong ditching. I remember when we lived in Lake O'Neill, they had this this monthly, like, who's got the best lawn kind of thing, which was kind of weird because nobody mowed their own lawns, because everyone had, the base provided lawn care, but okay. So it was like, who's got the best lawn? You get like this little sign on your lawn. And then every month we would just move it to somebody else's lawn. And like every day until this lady caught us, and we just booked it and kept the sign. And like you do stupid stuff like that. So like that's part of growing up, right?
Yeah, I think it was another chief warrant officer. He was motor T, or maybe a 04. I don't remember, but his kid got in trouble because, again, it's like almost all the shit that used to happen in what's the name of that neighborhood? O'Neill Housing, right there by the old where we used to live. I mean, this kid was white as can be and everything. He writes Tupac for life or something on one of the not the monkey bars, but the little whatever that with the slide. I mean, and then they called the MPs and they got kicked out of housing because he was tagging basically Thug Life and Tupac for life, and it's like, dude, I mean, it's like you're growing up on base. I mean, you're not growing up, you don't have to have street cred. I mean, base housing for shit's sake, So I mean, it just things like that. I think that like just people get bored, and it's not perfect. And I mean, kids are going to be kids. It doesn't matter, what the environment. But did you ever felt? And I asked this to your sister as well. I mean, I know I used to give you the Marine haircuts. I mean, I'm 100% guilty of that. And I know you used to hate, especially when the Clippers would get hot, and just Jesus Christ. But I mean, did you ever feel compelled to like join the Marine Corps, or that you were marined around? I mean, yes, sometimes punishment, corporate punishment would happen to be push-ups and all that type of stuff. But
sun gods for 10 minutes straight, just sun gods. That was the worst. No, I think that type of punishment was, it was some Mr. Miyagi shit where it's like, all right, you want to act up, we're going to punish you, but it's also going to build character and make you stronger because, you ground me. Cool. You grounded me and put me in my room with all of my stuff. What am I going to do? Mess with my stuff. I'm going to get creative. I'm a kid, but at least this way, it helped me be a little bit more athletic. And now just, it only, I feel, benefited me in that regard. I could, of course, can't speak for other people, but for myself, that type of punishment was more of, help building discipline in myself, instead of just getting in trouble for the sake of getting in trouble. And then I know that I did aspire to one day be a Marine. There's actually a newspaper clipping from the Camp Pendleton newspaper. They went around to Mary Faye Pendleton. We're asking a bunch of kids, what do you want to be when you grow up? And in there, I was like, I want to be a Marine. I want to be awesome like my dad and his friends and such like that. So, of course, I did want to join. I was unable to because I'm a medical disqual. Tried a few times on that one, but I did end up being able to assist in the way that I could, and was a contractor for 5 years?
Yeah. So, and I think you were the youngest staffed contractor.
Yeah, I was like 18, 19.
Yeah, as soon as you turn 18, you were automatically pretty much, you started working there. And yeah, you did. You worked at for the base safety center and for the traffic section, teaching motorcycle safety, and which to me I thought was, and I did do an episode on motorcycle riding. I think it's a pretty good segue. You were kind of a late bloomer in the motorcycle stuff, but it was just like right away. When you picked it up, you went all the way. You've gotten to, shoot, tell us, what you was, your growth path as far as an instructor came, and in California, and, where you stood and all that stuff.
So it started off with me actually not liking motorcycles that much.
Yeah.
I did not like bikes. And then I took the BRC on Camp Pendleton, the basic rider course, to get my license, because we just had this Honda Nighthawk 250 that was sitting in the garage, and I was like, hey, can I have this, because it's a little bit cooler than my rusted out Suzuki Samurai.
Hey,
yeah, it was rattle can a couple times.
Come on, man. The rust bucket was okay.
The rust bucket needed another quart of oil every 2 days. And I was like, you know what? Why not? You know, it's cheaper on gas. It's cooler. I'm in high school. Why not? Right. Took the BRC. I took it with John Samroska and Rich Stamp, both great riders. Now they're doing Yamaha Champions Racing School, and John Samroska runs the traffic safety department down at NCS Yuma. So two great riders, great mentors. I nearly failed on the first time I took the class, but I passed and decided, you know what, this would be kind of cool. Let's do this one day. I started shadowing you as you went to El Centro. I think at first it was punishment. You're like, hey, come on, it's hot outside and you messed up in school, so let's throw some cones. But that was really cool experience watching other people grow, you know, people coming in with no experience on motorcycles, and they're just taking a whim, like, you know what, let's try it out. Let's see if this is something I want to do. Or, hey, I just dropped 20K on a bike and I have no idea how to use it. Teach me. I'm like, that's dumb, but okay, we're going to do that. And just watching that growth, watching people gain an appreciation for this, that really inspired me not to just become a rider coach, but also become a better rider. And of course, transfer on these skills. And then from then on, when I turned 18, I shadowed for about 6 months to become a rider coach, helped make it easier for me to go through the training. In the state of California, the youngest you could become a rider coach was 18. And even at that time, they had to get some special recommendations. That way they're not just signing off some kid that had no idea what he was doing. Got certified at 18, was the youngest rider coach in California and many other states, as far as I knew, as far as the program knew. And then from then on, I just wanted to grow. And then I became total control instructor for levels 1, 2, and 3. And then everything for the MSF except for like the 3-wheel stuff and the circuit rider course. And then started doing quality assurance stuff. Was on track to become a rider coach trainer, so to teach other rider coaches how to become rider coaches. Ended up purchasing my own rider training school. Did that for a few years, and now I just help out with the state program over here in Arizona as I work my corporate job as well. So I do that on the side, teaching when I want to, so that way it's not a job. Instead, I can really just enjoy what I'm doing.
Yeah, no, I know you were a late bloomer. Remember we used to have the ATC, the 3-wheel.
Oh, I hated
it.
Yeah, no, I screamed. I was crying. I was like 8 years old crying. It was great.
But that, you know, I think, you know, we had a lot of older bikes. As you know, like as you said, you have an eclectic taste. You need to stop buying these type of eclectic motorcycles. But also, I mean, you know, again, you start picking up, you know, turning wrenches. I know because, you know, I used to build bikes and stuff in the garage and just tinker. But it was a great way, coming full circle, because as you even got better, I mean, I got my racing license and stuff through Rich, who invited me out a couple of times, and I ended up getting my license and such. But I thought it was really cool when we had that, you know, you already, you know, part of pretty much doing the whole state program thing in California. And yeah, you were part of the, you know, some of the QAs and all that stuff where you were doing the whole track, you being a track monitor and stuff. And at one point in time, I mean, you zapped right by me, you know, on your bike. And, you know, I even asked him, like, hey, were you towing with me? And you're like, yeah. I'm like, why? And I just say, hey, why didn't you just pass me? He goes, well, I just didn't want to, you know, and I said, which was cool. I mean, I appreciate the respect, but I mean, that's, like I said to you, you know, at the track, I'm like, you know, it's progression. I mean, I would expect you that, you know, you get better, and at some point in time, I mean, you're gonna pass me, and that's, you know, that's what I guess, you know, that's human life. I mean, you know, new school versus old school. You know, as I get older, I get more conscious and more cautious that, hey, you know, this man has 5 knee surgeries, 1 bum shoulder with a surgery, and another one that he injured getting bucked off of a horse in Texas. You know, I mean, I have to, you get a little bit more cautious is the bottom line. I mean, some more than others. I mean, hence why I still get injured to this day. But that's life. So I thought it was pretty cool, that you've been, that you're doing the bike thing and you're getting better at it. I mean, shit, to the point where you even started coaching me on how to become a better instructor myself. I mean, you told me, hey, because you were doing this, I was doing it kind of. I started out when I first retired doing it somewhat full time ish, but then like you, I went and got a corporate job doing some other, so it became more of a weekend thing. And you were doing this full time, and of course, you're going to get better at being, standing on a podium and talking and stuff. And you're like, hey, when you talk to students, why don't you try these things and say it this way? And I was like, oh, hey, you know what? That makes sense. So I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, I didn't get my feelings, hurt or whatever. I thought I was like, oh, hey, so it made me want to strive to be like you now as an instructor, So for that, good sir, I thank you. And but the cool thing about that job is that it kind of sets you up for success too. And by no means that I had, I do safety and that was my thing, and I don't think nobody. I mean, you made your own choice, and you but it was easy transition because I said, hey, you know what, they're hiring here, and you kind of jumped aboard, and again, you took the ball and you just started running with it, So that was in 2018, I think.
Yeah, so that was that position started March 23rd of 2018.
Damn, to the date and everything.
Yeah, I moved here March 21st, sight unseen, and then started my job March 23rd, and didn't realize that I moved an hour away from where I worked. That was not a smart idea.
So what is it you do now then? I mean, yeah, you had your own business. You had, we know you teach motorcycle safety. So what's your 9 to 5 gig then?
So my 9 to 5 is I am on paper the assistant vice president of loss control for a professional employer organization. That is just a bunch of fancy words. That means that I work in workers' compensation, and my job is to analyze trends in regards to industries and types of injuries, location, so on and so forth, just trend analysis, and then take that data and relay it to our field team and let them know, hey, focus your efforts in this direction because we want to minimize the potential for employee injury. That's what it comes down to. It's a mix of humanitarian. We want people to go home safely to their families, and of course, as well, business. Hey, we want to protect our assets in regards to the insurance premium we collect and then what we pay out. So on a good day, I just look at numbers, and then on a not so great day, I deal with amputations or potential fatalities and such like that. And that's for industries all across the board, be it from construction, warehousing, staffing, medical, mining, a bunch of stuff. So, and we help.
Yeah, that company's grown quite a bit. I mean, that's after when I got started my first company. That's where I went, and you and me even worked together. But we already had a really good working, unlike any other father and son working relationships. And I'm not talking about like the people from American Chopper, like, hey, fix that goddamn, I mean, you and I used to work together, and when we used to throw cones, teaching motorcycle classes, we did not have to say one word to each other that entire class. But we were just like in sync, like just by looking at each other, either I took the lead sometimes, or you were you were the first coach, I was second, and vice versa. And you just like look, the nod, whatever. I mean, it was just boom, and I mean, we used to make it happen. So I think that was a good segue. I mean, when we worked together, I mean, we were co-workers. You didn't call me Papi or whatever, none of that stuff. I mean, it was just like, hey, Joe, and, you call me by my first name. And I mean, but we made stuff happen. I mean, you were there at Central at the headquarters, and I was out in the field at, other places. I mean, but I think it was good. And that company has grown quite a bit. And they do a lot of stuff. I will say that Venture Employer Services, when I was there, they were very pro-military. They did a lot of free pro bono OSHA safety courses with Veterans Transition Support, Russell Levy, who's been on the show as well. So, and I know Bill and everybody, Carol and, Alex, all those folks over there. It's a great team. They've done really good, and they love to hire military as well. So, if anybody here is interested, Venture Employer Services, you go to their website, check them out. They're on LinkedIn, and hit them up. That's just a free ad. Bill, if you want to go ahead and sponsor this show, Alex, I'm all about it.
I'll go ahead and let the recruiting and marketing team know.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, no, but I think now. So now dude, you're 27 years old. And for a 27-year-old, you're making really good money. Right there, in Arizona. That's pretty freaking awesome. So what's your next goal? What do you have your target site as you climb this you're climbing this corporate ladder pretty good.
So my next goal is just to continue to climb the ladder. I've owned my own business once, and I've done that. I met that check in the box. I did that thing, and it was cool. Maybe I'll do it again later on. But right now, I just want to. Sounds super anti what a lot of people like to do, but I love just climbing that corporate ladder, and just because it's something from my experience, because of my age and such like that, having joined this company at 23, being the youngest person by the next youngest being 20 years older than me. It's me climbing that ladder is because I put my 3,000% in, and it's just the fruits of my labor and the recognition and such like that, and being able to help better the departments and interdepartment communication and such like that. And so that's pretty much it. My goal is to one day be my senior VP position. That is going to be soon, if it's by anything or if it's goes according to plan. It's going to be relatively soon.
Do you think that's and I asked the question, and you could be as as dead on as I would hope that you are, but do you think that your upbringing, in the sense that growing up in the military and to some of the things and seeing different, not just me, because you hell, you even got to shit, I don't know why we haven't talked about it, but you got to live in Japan with me, at Mount Fuji for almost a month. For over a month, and you left 2 days before the actual earthquake tsunami hit. So you've been exposed to a lot of different environments. How was that? Yeah, before we get to the other piece, but how was that? What was your experience from your point of view? Because it initially started as a punishment. Yeah, I'm going to bring his little ass. He's misbehaving at in California with his mom. But then, I was like, man, I think this guy, like a couple of days ago, I'm like, I think he likes this shit, So, yeah, how was that experience for you? Going to Fuji and getting to hang out with the barracks Marines.
So it was awesome because I learned a pretty good level of fun versus work, and waking up at 4 a.m. to iron my camis, and then proceed to PT, and then scarf down food, and then work. And then at the same time, I was still in high school. So it was, all right, you're done, working on vehicles or doing miscellaneous, cleanup. I hate the snow. I will never shovel snow again in my life, because shoveling snow around those barracks just sticks with me. It's just,
believe me, I did it when I became a warrant officer. I never seen snow, and the little stuff that we got to see here and there in California, going up to the mountains. But I freaking hated shoveling snow. at TBS at the basic school. It was freaking horrible. It lost its coolness right away.
Yeah, day one, oh look, it's snow. Day two, fuck the snow. I'm done with this. Never
exactly.
again. I'm moving to Arizona. No, but it only again, that form of discipline only helped me mature and grow even more so. It's an experience I still to this day I value. Walking away with the challenge coin that Colonel Gate gave me.
God,
oh yeah, I still have this. I still have the little what's it called? He provided me.
The little certificate and stuff. Oh yeah, kind of like letter of certificate of appreciation.
Yeah, and it's again starting off as punishments. I think that was an amazing punishment, if you will, because I did end up enjoying it. I enjoyed the camaraderie. It just helped further my growth, just as a person in general. And that's just an experience I'll always cherish, just because of how fun it was, how great being able to see the world was, different perspective. It was just nothing but positives, and shoveling snow. F the snow. But yeah.
No, I think that I that experience, and I forgot the staff sergeant's name at the motor pool, but he's like, "Hey, sir, your kid can actually turn wrenches." I'm like, "Yeah, I think, I hope so." I mean, he's seen me do it quite a bit. He goes, "He's actually pretty good. I wish I could have a couple of more." I'm like, "Hey, man, I could keep him here 2 more months, but I forgot that you were supposed to go on a trip." And luckily, thank God that you did leave, because 2 days later, to the hour, that earthquake tsunami hit, right there in Japan. And I even had 2 Marines that when it hit, they were stuck for over a week down at Haneda Airport. And they had to make their way back through back roads. I don't know how these kids made it back. They had GPS. It's 2011, but the GPS system on phones and stuff, I think it was like GPSs were like a added option on your phone plan. But but that experience and those things, I think, like you said, I think it did help assist you to the type of person that you are today. Not just because aside from the haircuts and whatever, and tying the ropes when needed. There was no. I don't think I marine you or your sister around like you see some of my counterparts are like, man, it's like, oh hell no, but it is what it is. But no, that's awesome, man. And congratulations on you. And I know this was you just got this recent promotion with venture and everything. So I'm happy for you, and I'm proud of you too. I mean, you are my son after all. Well, where can people find you if people have, hey Joseph, I wanna, I'm interested in becoming a safety professional like you, or hey, I'm interested on learning more about motorcycling and private lessons and all that stuff. Where can people go and reach out to you?
So the easiest way would be, of course, LinkedIn. Just look up Joseph Correa, and you'll see this mug looking at you in my profile picture. I get questions like that all the time. Hey, just want to know a little bit more about, getting to the safety field, or getting to the motorcycle safety field, or just learning how to ride and such like that. So LinkedIn is the easiest. You could also, the only other social media that I have is Instagram. So if you want, you can use that too. It's just Average Joe Moto. Same thing. I get direct messages there all the time. Feel free to message me. More than happy to help, because that's what I do. I help people because I want people to be safe, and either on a motorcycle, out in the field, doing whatever their work is and such like that. So feel free to reach out to me. Be more than happy to help.
And do you do OSHA 10 hours and stuff like? Are you open to doing stuff like that on the weekend if people want to reach out and get some stuff done for their companies and such?
Yeah, so I do OSHA 10 hours and I do OSHA 30 hours. Just reach out to me and we can see if we can make something happen. No guarantees, of course, because I do juggle a few different positions. I am a busybody and I do work very often. But we can see if we can make something happen.
También habla español.
And
Well, hey, can we bring you back some other time in the show just to bullshit and just chit chat and see where you're at?
for sure, of course.
Okay. Well, thanks so much for your time, Joseph. I love you. I hope that everything is good. I haven't seen you in a little bit, so you need to bring your ass to Florida now that I have an actual real house.
Yeah, but with my luck, I'm going to get there. And then like 2 days later, there's going to be a hurricane. So yeah.
You do bring the weather with you.
I do. But no, I'll definitely visit. It was great being here.
Okay, son. I love you. You be good, okay?
Yes, sir. All right. Bye.
Well, everybody, that was my oldest, Mr. Joseph Correa. Before we punch out, I just want to say that, hey, if you've been struggling with anything, with depression, anxiety, or just ruminating, and as we used to call it in therapy, the ants are crawling all over you, just go ahead and, you can reach out to me. You can reach out to other services like the VA, Military One Source, Suicide Hotline. And you can even, again, let me at least be that last phone call, those last text messages. Let's work it out because everything has a solution. And bottom line is that nobody wants you gone. You matter. I matter. So let's talk about it and let's get you the help that you need. But other than that, another great show, another great week on by. So and we'll bring Joseph on some other time. But with that being said, everybody, we're going to index right here. Adios, muchacho. Hoorah. Get some. I am out of here, baby. Pew.